Hello, hi. I am Faith, representing Group 3, that is January CSCS Group C. I'll be taking you through a learning on environmental education, and from the same we shall be able to interact with textual content, video content, a podcast, as well as an infographic. So we can quickly go to the presentation and slides. So our first and second slide, they just give us an introduction to the group, as well as the group members who made this video come to be. So we can quickly go to our first slide, that is our first slide, which presents us to the textual content. Our first slide is on textual content, that is environmental education, the definition of terms. Our first term is environment. This is the surrounding or conditions. Environment, this is the surrounding or conditions in which a person, animal, or plant lives and operates in. Next is environmental pollution. This is the introduction of contaminants into the natural environment that causes adverse change, resulting to it being harmful and unpleasant to live in. Lastly, we have environmental conservation. This is the practice of protecting the natural environment by humans to save it from the loss of species and destruction of the ecosystem. Environmental conservation, this is the practice of protecting the natural environment by humans to save it from the loss of species and destruction of the ecosystem. And to slide number 4. Slide number 4. This is the slide on video content, environmental degradation. This refers to the deterioration of the environment through the consumption of assets such as soil. It comes about due to erosion and decline of the quality of the natural environment. Attached is a video shedding more light on environmental degradation, specifically gully erosion. We shall proceed to open the video. This may take up to 1 minute.
Each and every one of you. In today's episode, I have prepared a short video about gullies. What is a gully? This is a trench which was originally worn in the earth, in water, much water, that runs as a base. In short, or in simple terms, you can see a gully is a small valley. Gullies are permanent erosional forms that develop when water concentrates in narrow run of paths and channels and cuts into the soil to depths that cannot be smoothed over by tillage or removal. Gullies are usually formed in 3 major steps, and that will be the focus of our discussion. Now, step number 1, we have the waterfall erosion. In step number 2, we have the channel erosion along the gully bed. The final one is landslide. We have the landslide erosion and gully lines. Step number 1, waterfall erosion. This is due to the rainwater seeping the flow in the direction of the gravitational force. And this is evident in the rainy seasons.
It is quite a long video, so maybe allow me to go to the next slide on the presentation. Allow me to go to slide number 5. This is slide number 5. Environmental conservation. Environmental conservation is the practice of protecting the natural environment by humans to save it from the loss of species and destruction of the ecosystem. Attached is an audio on environmental conservation practices. So this will introduce us to the podcast or audio content. We can go ahead and open it.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It all depends on what time of the day it is, from whatever part of the world you are listening to this podcast. This is the Conversation Podcast. This is our episode 10. I'll be your presenter, Duncan. Now, in today's episode, we are going to discuss about conservation of environment. What is conservation? What is the environment? You may ask. What do you want to know? Environment. This is the surroundings or conditions in which a person or plant lives or operates. In simple terms, this is the sum total of all living and non-living elements and their effects and influences on the body. What about conservation? This is the careful preservation and protection of something. Now, there are several ways or types of conservation, which include environmental conservation, animal conservation, marine conservation, and human conservation. In our today's topic,
That is the PowerPoint. It's quite a long one. It goes for 6 minutes. So allow me maybe to go to the next slide. This is our next slide number 6, principles of waste management. Slide number 6, principles of waste management. This is our infographic. It introduces us to the 3 R's rule. That is reduce, that is cut back on the amount of trash and waste generated, e.g. using your own cookware and dishware to reduce amount of disposable dishes. Reuse, find new ways to use things that otherwise will have been thrown out, for example use of plastic containers to store other things. And recycle, turn something old and useless into something new and useful, for example use of newspapers to wrap up fragile things or glassware. The UNEP 2022 theme, that is living sustainably in harmony with nature. And on to our concluding slide number 7. It's clear. Yeah, this is the concluding slide number 7. From the lesson above, we can conclude that taking care of the environment is an initiative which begins from the individual capacity, nation and the world. It is quite necessary that we all have awareness on how environmental pollution affects the environment and on how to conserve it. That marks the end of our presentation. Thank you very much.